What's up, everyone? It's Rubi here, bringing guys another video. So today, we're gonna talk about BitLife, and more specifically, DogLife, but BitLife too. So first, before we get into it, I want to make sure that you guys know that this video is coming before. It's coming before a series of DogLife videos, which are coming out every Sunday. This content is so the DogLife videos coming up is pre-recorded. So those were recorded a while ago, basically on like the launch day of DogLife. I recorded a bunch of videos, and they're all scheduled to come out every Sunday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Eastern Daylight Time, whatever. It's coming out 8 p.m. So do know that those videos are recorded before this video. So this video is going to come before those videos, but it's being recorded after. And the reason for this is because usually I would just schedule it to come at the timeline, but I think that this topic is important to discuss, and I think it's important to discuss now, because there's a lot of talk going on around the community, and there's a lot of opinions being thrown around, and I want to give mine while it is current and not like 4 weeks later, because there's a lot of videos coming. Okay, so basically, I should actually tell you which is the last video I recorded, just in case I end up posting more, just so it doesn't get confused. So the last video that I recorded and is getting ready to publish is I recreate Sylvester the cat in DogLife. So that is the last video that I recorded. Okay? And that's coming out on November 28th. Okay? So that was the last one. So anything after that is coming after this video. Just so you have a point of reference. Because the order is confusing, but it's done for a reason. Because I don't want to spam you guys with DogLife videos. And also it gives me some breathing room, so that if something happens, like in my life, I still have videos coming out, that sort of thing. But anyways, besides that. Okay, so let's get into the actual video. So, again, I would normally schedule this video along with the rest, but I find the subject to be topical now, and I don't want to wait to address it. Like, I don't want to record it now and then release it 4 weeks later, because there's a potential that my opinion might change, and there's also a potential that something might happen, whatever. I want to record it now, I want to publish it now. So, in order to begin, I think I should talk about what my overall opinions are on DogLife as a game. Putting aside BitLife, just talking about DogLife. So, number one, I think the game is a bit jarring at first. And maybe that's because of the rating it was given. It was given a 12 plus rating initially. Apparently BitLife is fixing that. But it was given a 12 plus rating, which gave me the impression that this was going to be more on the fun side, and more kid friendly maybe on than DogLife in comparison to BitLife. But it was the complete opposite, which was very strange. I know what to expect when going into BitLife. I know what to expect then. So I was thinking that it was going to be similar, or maybe a little bit less, or maybe even a little bit more graphic than BitLife. Because BitLife, it's their first game. They were getting their starting point. But DogLife, they've been in the running for a few years now. And so now they have their footing, and DogLife is what they chose to promote in order to show that. And the thing is, this company, BitLife, Candy Writer, more specifically. I'm going to address it as Candy Writer, just to be specific. So Candy Writer is the kind of company that has refused to do controversial things like the incest updates, and have even gone so far as to mock people for such requests. And I don't blame them for that, because those suggestions are disgusting. But they take that and they are willing to do it in a dog life simulator. And what they do is that, for a company that has established that they don't want to do like an incest or any of that stuff update, it was very unexpected to have features which talk about climaxing to a human being, on top of which having a dedicated achievement which encourages this activity. Not to mention the attempted breeding with offspring, especially ones that are literal babies. The anacross species stuff, and the overall bestiality features. So for those of you who aren't familiar with DogLife, basically there are certain actions that reflect a bestiality mentality. Now, they have released an official statement on Reddit in which they explain their reasoning for this was that dogs like to hunt things in real life. And so they wanted to reflect that as a fun thing. The thing is, okay, yes, dogs can be horny, okay? But they don't actively seek having intercourse with another species. They don't actively look to have sex with a human, or to have sex with a cat or something like that. They don't do that. What happens is that they usually just don't have another mate around. I have 2 dogs, okay? So I'm very familiar with how, and I've had multiple dogs, all Old English sheepdogs, but I've had multiple dogs, and I'm familiar with how they behave, okay? My most recent one is more into the humping, but he's not looking to climax or masturbate. First of all, okay, they're neutered, so that wouldn't even work. But even if they weren't, that's not really what they're trying to achieve. And I've not really heard of an instance where an animal, outside of abuse, has seeked out trying to go off on a human like that, so to speak. They don't actively try and, I don't know, hump their vagina. I'm putting it in DogLife's terms, okay? It's just, there's a point in which it's okay to make fun of it, and there's a point in which it's just unnecessary and disgusting. And the fact, it's okay if there's an activity, right? If that's just an action you can do. But it's the fact that it's an achievement. And one of the achievements literally says, I'll pull it up now. One of the achievements, unless they changed it, let me see. Because I will pull it right now and tell you exactly what it says. Unless they pulled it. So it says, climax while humping a human, interbreeder. That is an achievement. It is a real achievement. As of right now, that is an achievement. Meaning you have to actively seek. It doesn't say just hump a human. It says climax while humping a human. Which means you have to do it multiple times. You can't just do it once and you get an achievement, haha. No, you have to actively do it until the dog or the cat or whatever actually gets turned on by it, basically. And that's not what animals do. As far as I'm aware, there is no instance of an animal that seeks that out on purpose. There are instances of abuse, when people put stuff in their area in order to encourage like a dog to like lick them or like even like penetrate them. And I don't want to get into it. It's not appropriate for YouTube. But basically, you know, there are people who abuse animals, and it turns out into that. But it is not something that an animal will outright seek. And so for a game that is trying to like mimic real life, it is not realistic to have an achievement in which the purpose is to have an end goal. Okay. Like, it's not realistic at all, and it's not even funny. It's just disgusting. It's just disgusting. That's the thing. It's like, it's not even funny. Like, if the achievement was like, oh, just hump a person's leg, that's funny, because that's exactly what dogs do. But the achievement says that you have to climax. That is their words. It says, climax while humping a human. That is their words. Which basically means you have to wait till you're in heat, and then hump their leg, and then also climax, which is disgusting, because that is bestiality, and that is not appropriate, and it's not funny. I don't know how that got past, like, a moderation team, or, like, an ideas team, like, oh, yes, let's have one of the achievements, out of the 60 achievements, let's have one of them be, bestiality. That's funny. No, it's not. It's not funny. What would be funny is if one of the achievements was humping a human's leg. That's funny. Not this. This is not funny. And I was literally thinking about it. You can go back where I was like reading the achievements and I saw that. I don't even know if I said anything, but I was thinking it. I'm like, what the fuck is that? Because, like, I was starting to, like, when I initially played the game, I was, like, looking at the achievements, and it's, like, successfully mate with an offspring, okay. Have 30 offspring in one life, okay. Mate with 10 people, or have 10 mates, okay. Attract multiple males, okay, straightforward, break a bong, sniff a sweaty crotch, maul an owner down, okay, that's funny, that's good. Try to save it marriage, climax with humping a human. While humping a human. Like, what? It just comes out of left field. And it's like, this is the same company that says that they don't want to do things that are controversial. Like the incest update. And I agree with that sentiment. But then they do this. And it's like, what? See, if it just said hump a human's leg, that's different. You just have to do it once. Haha. It's over. But this is encouraging bestiality activity, and it's not even funny. And I don't know if there are, like, other things like that. I don't think there's another, like, problematic achievement like that, but that's one of them. That one didn't need to exist at all. And I don't really understand why it exists, but they say that they're going to work on it. They say they're going to fix it. So we'll see. So also there are a lot of other inappropriate activities, but so, like, there's activities in which, like, you can, like, urinate on another being, you can, like, throw feces potentially, or have feces thrown at you, or, like, you have, like, other disgusting, like, behavior in order to entertain the audience. And I get the idea is to make a parody of a dog's life or a cat's life or just animal life, right? But the thing is, like, there is a difference between comedy and just being disgusting, because I feel like if you are I just feel like there needs to be a sense of, what's the word? Responsibility, I guess. Not really responsibility. But if I am going into this app and I have no clue what to expect, and I create a new life, and I go to activities, or I go to, like, one of, like, the animals, like, interact with, and it says urinate, or like flash my anus at them. That is, what the fuck? Like, I don't even know what that is trying to reference exactly. I still don't understand what that means. I mean, I guess animals do that, but why? There are other ways to show dominance. It's like, and also, why specifically that language? Like, that is very jarring to me. Like, if it said, like, flash my butthole, okay, funny. But it literally said anus, which I get is the, like, proper term and everything. But it's still weird. Like, I don't know, it's like, maybe BitLife is grown up, I don't know, or Candy Writer or whatever. But it's very jarring. And I think that if they had advertised DogLife to be like, oh, this is going to be more mature than BitLife, just as a heads up, just so you know, it's going to be a little bit more mature than BitLife, I think that would have been fine. But what they did is they advertised this game as a spin-off to BitLife, which means that we're expecting similar themes, sort of, when it comes to BitLife, right? We're expecting, or DogLife, we're expecting to see, like, similarities, and there are similarities, but there's also big differences. And I think that they made a mistake by not prefacing that and saying, hey, this is going to be a little bit more graphic than BitLife. And I think if they had just said that, people would have known what to expect, and they wouldn't have been so taken aback by all of the mature themes. I think the transition from BitLife to DogLife was like going from seeing like a sex scene in a movie to seeing straight up porn. And those things are very different from each other, okay? So it's like, you could have given a warning at least. Like, if you're going to promote a new game, you're going to want to give a user a heads up, because people are going to expect that the next game is going to be similar to the game that you started out with, because especially when it's literally called DogLife BitLife Dogs. So it's literally like this is an extension to BitLife, which makes sense. So if it's not that, then you need to give a heads up. And they said they are going to change the rating, which is fine. But I think they also need to change the app description. Let me just make sure that, okay, so it says, live as a dog in this all-new text life simulator from the makers of BitLife. How will you live your dog life? Will you be a faithful companion to a loving family, or a dangerous street dog, an unloved mutt at the shelter, or a purebred puppy at the pet store? See where this epic new text adventure takes you. Dozens of breeds await, including Labrador Retrievers, French Bulldogs, German Shepherds, Golden Retrievers, Bulldogs, Poodles, Beagles, Rottweilers, Dachshunds, Corgis, Australian Shepherds, Boxers, Great Danes, Huskies, and so many more. Now I have a question for you. Does that sound like something that is going to be like, flash your butthole or flash your anus at them? It's like, no. Like, I think that they might have accidentally misled what this app is actually about. And I think that's a problem. Because a lot of people have different comfort zones and different boundaries of what they like to play in a game and what they don't like to play in a game. And that's fair. Like, you wouldn't expect to go into this Sims vanilla and see, like, I don't know, murder a person. Like, you wouldn't expect to see that. Not from The Sims. And so if that were included in, like, The Sims 5, it would be very jarring. Because it's like, holy shit, they're going gore. They're doing, like, all this violent shit. So it would be nice if, like, The Sims 5, if they were going to go in that direction, they would say, hey, this is going to be a little bit more mature than the last games. just a heads up, this is going to be a little bit more violent. Like, that, they basically did that with, like, The Sims Medieval, where they're like, this is going to be a little bit different. It's going to have a little bit, like, it's going to have, like, death and everything, and, you can, like, kill people, and they said that. But DogLife didn't really do that. They said this is going to be like BitLife, but for dogs and cats. They never said that it was going to be, like, a more mature version. They never said it was going to be more graphic. They never said it was going to be, have, like, these, like, sexual elements. And, maybe they thought it was going to be funny. But you would think that you would at least say that this is going to have a different sense of humor. Or this is going to be a little bit different. It's going to be like BitLife, but more mature. Or something like that. Just so people know when they're going in blind to your app, they know what to expect. Like, I went into it, literally the first time I saw it was when I made my first video of it. And I was not expecting to see all of those elements in the game. I was expecting to see, like, have a meal with your mate and, like, have a spaghetti with them or something like that. Like, or, like, I don't know, play fetch with your owner, something like that. And instead, it's like, hump them. Or, like, have sex with them. And it doesn't say, just to be clear, it doesn't say to have sex with a human. It just says to hump them. But, like, the fact that there is an achievement, a dedicated achievement, to humming a person to climax, that's too far. That needed a warning, first of all. And second of all, that's not even funny. If it was just, like I said, I don't want to have to, like, repeat myself over and over again, but like I said, if it had just been, like, hump a human's leg, like, that would have been funny, because that is what dogs do. But it was the fact that they added to, like, climax. That would never happen, unless the owner was abusive. That would never happen. It never happens. And so it's like, it's fun to, like, make an extreme and, like, make a hyperbole of a funny thing. But there is a line, and I think that BitLife did cross it, and I think that they should have warned other people about this before releasing their game. So then, on the flip side, though, I also believe that DogLife is a good idea. And I think that it's cool to think beyond the standard of a life simulator in a game. Because there's so many of them. And the question is, how do you make something different that is also similar to a life simulator game? Now, the first thing that I have in mind is, like, Nintendogs or something like that. Or, like, horses. But those are usually when you're, like, the owner and you're taking care of these animals, and it's, like, it's more focused on those areas. Whereas in this case, it's taking the lens of the animal, and you are the animal. And I think that's a really cool idea. I mean, like, everyone loves dogs and cats. And if you don't, I don't know why you're here. But my point is that while no one may have asked for it, okay, it's still a cool idea, and I think it's important to acknowledge that. And you also have to remember where BitLife started from in the first place, the game. Okay? And remember that at first, BitLife, the game, had many problems too. And I think that DogLife can become better, and I think that maybe, like, after they add, like, maybe, like, exotic animals, like wolves and big cats, so that I can fulfill my dreams of being the Lion King, or, like, maybe, like, after they add, like, more breeds, like Old English sheepdogs and other breeds, like, I think that it can grow. And I don't think that DogLife should be written off quite yet, because it literally just came out. And I'm sure that they're going to do updates, and I'm sure they're going to fix it, and I'm sure that, who knows? Who knows what happens? But let's find out. Let's not judge before anything else. Let's just see where it goes. And lastly, not really lastly, but I do want to address some of the hot topics people are talking about. And one of those is like, the fact that there's no new big updates to the main game of BitLife. And the question is, does BitLife owe us an update regularly in which they introduce a new big feature or something else? And I would say yes, but no. I would say yes, it is ideal for them to keep updating regularly, but I also don't think they owe us frequent updates. I think the fact that they started out doing basically monthly updates was actually a mistake, because it set the precedent that they were always going to do that. And now that they're trying to rein it back, they're starting to lose people, because people are expecting, oh, there should be a new thing this month. What's the new update this month? Why aren't we getting a new update? And also, I think one of the biggest mistakes was the fact that it took so long to get Android and iOS in sync. So, for a while, Android and iOS had completely different features. iOS was like 5 updates ahead of Android, and Android was suffering. And the reason for that was that BitLife actually didn't have anyone dedicated to programming for Android, and BitLife was made for iOS. And so when they did the updates, it would only be for iOS. And so there was a problem with that, because obviously not everyone has an iPhone or like an Apple product, and so they were losing out on cool features. And it was like, I think that they realized that they needed to catch up, because they couldn't just have Android dragging along while they were releasing all this new content. So BitLife decided they're going to do this big merger, and they're just going to release all of the like iOS updates to Android all together at once. And then there was big hype for it, and there was a set date, and then it kind of didn't happen. It happened in stages, which I think is fine. I think that people, I get it. I mean, like, Android, they've been waiting for a while, and they're getting impatient. And while that is happening, iOS is not getting anything new. And so there's like 3 months, maybe even 4 months of just no new content. And the next new content that was announced is an entirely new game with microtransactions and a payment method, and it just looks bad. And I think that BitLife saw this opportunity to say, you know what, we have all of these apps aligned now. We have these apps aligned now. Android and iOS are both equal. So let's make a new game, and let's have it be Android and iOS at the same time. The problem with that is that iOS has gone so long without a new update. And while Android has just caught up, iOS has nothing new. And people are getting angsty, and people are getting kind of bored with BitLife. And I think that that's exactly why we're getting DogLife, is that they want to introduce something new, and they also want to move away from BitLife in general. Not like abandon it, but kind of like slow down that project so that they can work on other things. And I think that's great, because it diversifies their profile. It makes sure that they're able to stay in business. And people talk about why Top Dog costs money. And the simple answer is that it's because it's a company. BitLife needs to make money. And while it was okay for them to not do that when they were an indie company, they're not an indie company anymore. At least they're not at that level anymore. They were a brand new company coming into this basically from scratch. They had never done anything like this before, and so they did it. And I think they learned a lot from that. And as admirable it is to keep all apps like free and everything, it costs money to do that, and it costs a lot of money to do that. And I think people underestimate the amount of money it takes to maintain a mobile app. Because, you have, and also keep it free, right? And there's a reason why there are a lot of ads on these free apps. It's because if you're not going to get paid by a set subscription or whatever, then you need another source of income. And the only other source of income is through ad revenue. You see content creators do this exact same thing. They either have like a Patreon or a subscription feature, or they have like the join button or whatever. And they also, on top of that, have the free content that they offer, of which, if you're not subscribed to them, they often have ads. And I'm not talking about like subscribed as in like on YouTube subscribe, for free. I'm talking about the ones that actually cost money. So, in order to keep in business, you need to make money, period. So, you need a way to not only make money, but also satisfy your consumers. And the BitLife consumers are used to free content because BitLife set that standard. And I think that was a mistake on their part to do that in the first place. But I also think that, I don't think they actually owe us anything. But I think they did set a precedence that, everything was going to be free. Like, the only thing that they were going to make was the citizenship thing. And then I think they made a mistake by promising that. Because in the long run, right, let's be honest, okay? Let's keep it real. BitLife and Top Dog are not subscriptions. They are a one-time pay thing. And I love that. That is amazing. But it is detrimental to a company to have a one-time payment for something that lasts so long. And then people criticize them for making God mode, which was another thing that you had to pay for. And then you had the time machine on top of that. And people were saying, well, I don't think that, they're like, I don't think that we should have to pay for this because I already paid like the God mode thing, or I already paid for citizenship. Well, here's the thing. You paid for the content that was available at the time. Okay, that's what you paid for. You paid for the material, the things that were available at the time. And now, you could say that if it was a subscription where you had to pay monthly or regularly. But it's not. It's a flat fee. It's not a monthly fee. It's literally a one-time pay. And the thing with that is that once you own it, you don't have to pay for it again, most likely. And that causes BitLife to lose a lot of money because it's not a subscription fee. It's a one-time payment, which means that any new content that they add goes under that one price and no one has to pay for it. And the fact that citizens and Top Dog people don't have ads is even more detrimental to them because they lose out on the ad revenue, and now they lose out on a regular payment structure. And I'm not saying that they should add a subscription or they should add ads. I'm saying that I think you should be able to forgive them if they decide to add features that require extra money. Because I think that the fan base is a little bit spoiled and a little bit unrealistic as to what to expect from a company like BitLife. So, in conclusion, here's the conclusion to this, because I don't want this to be too long. Basically, I think that DogLife can be improved. I think that there doesn't necessarily have to be regular monthly updates. There just has to be, like, something to keep it fresh. It doesn't even have to be big updates. It could just be a small update, and I think people would appreciate that. Also, again, the mentality of that no one asked for it is kind of stupid because no one asked for BitLife to begin with. And I think that if you go on the basis that no one ever asked for it, you're going to lose out on creative and innovative opportunities. And I think that if you shut down anyone that decides to go with a new idea and you say no one asked for it, it helps in absolutely no one because nobody cares that nobody asked for it. Like, they don't care that you didn't ask for it. Okay, they're going to make it. It's already a thing. What do you want them to do? Like, that's just a stupid mentality, and I wish people would stop saying that. Because honestly, there's times where people say that, and people did ask for it. It just took a while for them to get there. Like, people were mad when, like, Skyrim was released onto multiple platforms, and the thing is, people asked for that. It just took a while, and yeah, now maybe it's getting a little bit too much. But again, people did ask for it, and now it's just, it's like, you can't say that no one asked for it, because at the end of the day, you're gonna play it anyways. And the thing is, like, even if you didn't ask for it, maybe you'll find something that you actually like about it. I feel like people like to complain a lot, mostly because they don't really have a life, or they're not really happy in their life. And I'm not saying you can't criticize a company. I'm saying that people don't realize that what they're saying is so entitled and just so spoiled, and that no company at all owes them the light of day for that. And people like saying, oh, I paid for citizenship, or oh, I paid for Adopt Dog. I should be able to say whatever I want about the company. Where in the terms of service did that say? At nowhere did it say that you could pay for citizenship or pay for Top Dog, which is $4 and also $2, and say whatever you want about it. And you're like, oh, well, there's freedom of speech. Well, yes, you have the right to say whatever you want, and BitLife has the right to tell you to shut the fuck up. It is how it goes. So if you... it's like... I don't know. People are just weird. But, to wrap everything up, okay? I think that there's two sides to this. People are entitled. BitLife does need to improve. But BitLife also doesn't owe you anything. Because, let's be honest here, okay? They're a company. They're going to want to make money. It is not realistic for you to expect everything to be free in life. And even if they promised years ago that something was never going to happen, or something was always going to be free, that promise is long gone because it's been multiple years. That was not a blood oath contract, okay? They didn't sign in blood. They said that it was probably going to be the last thing. And you know what? It's okay for them to change their mind about it. I think people who complain about having to pay for something that is $3 or for like $5 and something that isn't like a monthly charge, and then expect everything else from that point on to be free, is just being ridiculous and unrealistic. It's like, yes, you can comment about that, but just know that BitLife literally owes you not a damn thing. So the idea that like they owe you this because you're a consumer and you invested in their company, bitch, please. Sorry. You did not. I didn't mean to say that. I didn't mean to say that. But like, you didn't spend millions of dollars in this company. What are you talking about? It is a one-time charge, first of all, and second of all, the idea that they owe you anything because you paid for their one product is just so stupid. You would never say that to a content creator. I mean, yes, you would, because I see it all the time. But it's like, the funniest thing is that content creators do the same thing, and nobody bats an eye about it. And it's like, it's only when like big companies do it that it becomes uncool. Look, let me tell you a thing, okay? Twitch streamers, YouTubers, they rely on you to pay for this stuff. And you know who else relies on you to pay for this stuff? The people that work for all of these companies. So you know what? The next time you have to comment about like, oh, I have to pay for this, just keep in mind that you're paying for someone's job, okay? This is someone's job, okay? And you know what? Times change. Times change. Things change. The plan, I've altered the plan. Pray I don't alter it further. That is all. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, guys. It's been a blast.